I mean, there were some volatile situations at Missouri State. Back then it was SMS. And I can recall when my mother told me, don't go out to Missouri State, because they knew there was some student clashes and things of that nature. And my best friend was a white guy. You know, yeah.
Like me.
Yeah. My best friend was this white guy.
So you're acknowledging that I am. Okay, yeah.
You could with me. You could with me. Yeah. And his name was Randy Balin. And I met Randy when we were freshmen in high school. And I used to think he was arrogant. You know, first time I wanted to whip his ass, first time I met him. But eventually, I'm telling you, this cat was so cool. You know, he had a key to my mother's house, you know. And so my mother told us, do not go out to SMS. They're out there demonstrating and people raising Cain and stuff like that. And, you know, I had to show some solidarity to the brothers at the campus. So Randy and I went out there. And that's back in the day when you could walk all over town. You know, now our students don't walk nowhere. But that was back, you know, we'd walk from over on Sherman Street and National, Sherman Street and Division. And so we walked over to Missouri State. We went to the student union, and student union, when we got there, it was relatively calm. But then, you know, after about an hour, the student union was surrounded by white students who were pissed off at the brothers and the sisters. So we were like trapped. We were actually trapped at the student union. And so someone called the cops, and that's when, you know, the police right down there on, Jefferson and Chestnut. Now, you know, that ain't very far away. But after about a half an hour, cops hadn't showed up. and this is a true story. I mean, there were students out there with chains and bats and steel pipes and stuff, and we were actually surrounded. And so after they called the cops, they didn't show up. We were standing out there and watching the students, and I heard a voice in the darkness. And the voice was, Harold Wesley, didn't I tell your ass not to come down? So I'll tell you, this is true. This is true. And this sea of white students, they parted like the Red Sea. This is a true story. They parted like the Red Sea, and my mother marches right down the middle of the students and comes up on the pavilion where I was with the brothers and the sisters, and she grabs both Balin and I by our cuffs or shirts or something. I told you not to bring your ass down here. And she marched us. By the time she was coming through, though, the cops had showed up. And the cops their phalanx of cops came right down behind her. And there was this path where I was led, me and Randy were led through all the white students. It got quiet as church mice. You could hear a horse pee on cotton. Wait. I'm just saying. Wait a minute. And that wasn't all. That wasn't all. My mother didn't have a car. She had called up a friend of hers who used to sell fish out of the back of his car. This is true. And she marched us and told us to get in the car, and you know, she had some terms of affection for us. Mm-hmm. I was 15 before I didn't know my middle name was MF. So it was Harold Wesley, you MF, I told you not to bring your ass out here, get in the car. And so we got in the car. I was humiliated because, you know, I was trying to show solidarity with the brothers, and she marched me through the crowd of folks. But you know what? She broke up the riot because the students then just said, hell, let's go home. But there's a serious side to that because growing up in Springfield and being sort of an activist, a student activist or community activist, my mom was always concerned that something would happen to me. So that was why she would do it. She allowed me the freedom and the independence to do what I did at that particular point in time. But she was always afraid because of the threats that we got and the phone calls and the postcards that said, "We've been good to you niggas, so you know, don't mess it up." And so those are things that you take with you and you remember, and it makes you, you know, that much more committed to ensuring that you know, there's a place in Springfield, there's a place in our communities for everyone. And so we, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah.